Hello, and welcome to another Whisk review with me, the Whiskey Novice. Thank you for joining me for review number 153, I believe. And we're off to Speyside for a look at Tamdhu, the Tamdhu Batch Strength, I believe they call this, not cask strength, batch. And this is the Batch Strength batch number 6. This is batch 6. I've said it before, lovely bottle. I do think it is a lovely bottle, but we're not really there for the bottle, are we? Although, I'm convinced that we all probably, even if you have maybe only bought 6 bottles of whiskey in your time, one of them, I would imagine, has been bought because of the way it looked. I'm convinced of it, because I think we all at some point just buy a bottle because of the way it looks. Anyway, that's straying off the point. This, the Tamdhu Batch Strength, Batch 6, bottled at, what's that, 56.8%. I believe non-chill filtered and no colour added. I believe. So, Tamdhu, a Speysider there, owned by Ian McLeod Distillers. There you go. That's pretty much all you need to know about it, isn't it? Anything else, you'll find it online. Exclusively matured, I'm reading here, in sherry oak casks, natural colour. Well, it does stay on at natural colour. I knew that anyway. But I believe it's also non-chill filtered. Those ex-sherry casks I also believe to be Oloroso. So, what do we think? Right, this gets talked up quite a bit. I know it does. It's very spirit forward. It is. Yep. And once past that blast, which it is, sharp, tangy, sweet, and even slightly vinegary. I just find myself, it's a sherry bomb, yes, but I just find myself with this now. The whole time while it's like this, I find myself thinking this needs water. It's tight. And mind you, it's not for the want of air that's in the bottle, as you can see. It's just tight. And it's spirit driven. You know, yes, it does. Orange peel, slight sawdust, the sherry maturation. Yes, you would get it, but it's all about that really, as I said, about a sweet vinegary thing, and that's still there throughout. Yeah, I also said about sawdust, it's woody, but tight. Don't let it settle. It's tight. Let it settle. It's tight. Palate offers up more. Round, sweet and sour arrival. Now you can get those flavours. Orange, clove, chocolate. It's hot. It is hot. Yeah, it's hot. Whew. Some acetone. There is a hint of acetone, and whatever it is that makes your lips go numb. Because that's what this is doing. It's very, very spirit driven. Finish. Doesn't want to go away, and it's incredibly hot. I'm going to add some water. I'm going to add some more. I'll try a wee drop more and see what we can do, because this needs water. This is another whiskey that I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with. It's not bad. It's there's times when I've been in, I think probably it takes you to be in the mood for something to lift the head off you. And this will certainly do that. I know it has a big fan base. I do. I'm well aware of that. And I can understand why. But as I said, it's too spirit driven for me, especially neat. Even with that amount of water in it, I'm going to give it another one. At least one. Because I was going to say, even with that amount of water in it, it's still... And I just feel the temptation. That was 5 of them. 5 of them. And I imagine that was pretty much half a teaspoonful. So there's 2.5 teaspoonfuls of water I put into that, and it already become less than a measure. Now we're finally starting to get it down to somewhere that it's not burning the nose off me. Although it's still, if you get right into that and go deep, like deep, it's still going to burn the nose off you. This is one of those whiskies. And it just makes me think, if you've ever seen, it just makes me think of Patches O'Houlihan, the late great Rip Torn in Dodgeball. Now he suggested it was something else, but I'm talking about a whiskey here that sometimes it just takes you by the hunches and humps you into submission, and that's what this, forgive my language, but that's what this does. Now it's all that offensive is starting to calm down a bit. I imagine this takes a lot of water and a lot of time, and then the offensive starts to calm down. Yeah. Now I'm starting to get the fruitcake. Now I'm starting to get the sultanas. I wouldn't have said even raisins, more sultanas. Mixed pale. But always this deep dark, now that woody thing they said about sawdust earlier on, it becomes more of that old dank wood, like dunnage or something. And very dark notes, very deep dark notes, even plum pudding. That's incredible, the amount of water I put into that. And that's still got a lot of kick in it. It's got a lot of kick in it, but it loses a bit. Blackcurrant. Yeah, fruitcake again. Based on this review, based on my tasting notes done here, that's still incredibly hot. Based on this, I'm not giving this a good review here. It maybe doesn't sound like I'm not really giving it a good review. And prior to this, I imagine, suggested this. I can't remember. I've maybe suggested it as an alternative. I've probably said good things about it in the past because I have enjoyed it in the past. It's just got really, really hot. And when I do my tasting notes, this is to me testament of a whiskey, that when I do my tasting notes, if I do my tasting notes and it's one thing, and then I actually record this review and it's a different thing, it wouldn't be the first time that I've done it where I've actually stopped recording, went away and did my tasting notes again and rethought it and seen whether if it's been totally different. Because if they're that far apart, there's something off then. It's my palate or something. It would appear that my palate has went off, because from what I remember this whiskey being to what I'm doing now in a recording, if they're that far apart, then there's something different in my palate. It has to be. So I'll rethink it. This case, yes, I've had good times with this bottle, but now, and since I did my tasting notes, it hasn't got any better. It's all about heat and spirit. And I would feel using maybe tired casks, settling down a wee bit, but not enough. Finish, still hot. No, it's weird. It's around the 75 to 85 pounds mark. Started to think about these in a case of, would I replace them? No, I wouldn't. Based on this, I wouldn't. I don't think I would have been replacing it anyway. Lovely bottle. Oh, it's smashing. But there's other Tamdhus that aren't bad, that are probably better than this, that I would replace. This I wouldn't replace. That's just too hot. And when you get it down to the point whenever you can cope with it, then it just starts to feel, I mean, the flavour's still there. What flavour there was is still there, but it starts to get lacklustre, and it just becomes all about the heat. So look, just go pop a pin in that there and say, no, I wouldn't replace it. No, I wouldn't personally recommend it. It's not to my taste. I've done well at this bottle. It'll probably sit in the cabinet for quite a while. There, let's just move on. So then, if that's the case, what would I recommend? Well, I'm recommending this. I'm not saying that, this is not been your thing, or what way did I put this? Very warm. It's terrible warm. It's making it hard to think. And a whiskey that's particularly warm makes it even harder to think. But I will recommend to you, because it was another whiskey that did much the same thing as this. The Glenfarclas 105, for me personally, did an awful lot of the same things. Tight, when it started to release, tangy, etc, etc. So yes, basically, if you've had Tamdhu Batch Strength, I don't know what the other batches are like, and I'm sure, I know this has its fans, and I'm sure there are other batches that are better or worse or whatever, I'm not sure, but this just wasn't for me. And similarly, I remember even whenever I reviewed the 105, there was an awful lot of the same stuff going on. I found it tight, I found it spirit forward, I found it hot. So, not good things on either side, and I suppose really what I should be doing is recommending something that I preferred. Well, I do actually prefer the 105, but it's still. So let's just move on from that, shall we? So if you like the Tamdhu Batch Strength and you haven't already done so, I'm going to recommend to you that you give Glenfarclas 105 a go. I could let this settle and leave it, and I'm sure it will, and it is already. It's as I said, once that offensive lets up a little and it becomes a bit more tender, then you start to get, I'm getting old leather, slight savoury note, even wine notes or port notes, which I shouldn't really be getting, but there's a real depth and richness to it now. Palate feels a little thin because it's been watered down so much, but still got a lot of heat. Of the review done, I'm not going to go back on myself and change my mind in any way. I remember saying a long time ago about a whiskey that if I have to put that amount of effort into it to try and make it good, set that amount of effort into it, adding a bit of water, giving it a bit of time, etc. It doesn't sound like a lot of effort, but I still prefer my whiskey to be given to me in a way that I like it. I know that's maybe a bit to ask, because how do they know what way I like it? But you can trim and tame and shape most whiskies quite easily to suit you. Sometimes you can't, and that for me was the case here, that even whenever I put the effort in to get something out of it, I don't get a return that impresses me that much. So, ooh, that sounds like as if I was being quite tough on that. I suppose it was. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very, very much to my patrons, as always. If you should wish to join that group, the details are in the video description below. Till the next time, my friends, here's your good health. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching my video. Please click and subscribe to be notified of further content.